I'll let Ian give you the taco. Huh? Gentle. You're like, that's not a real donut. That's not a real donut. Are you gonna eat? Does anybody else's dog not want to eat unless you're standing right near them? That is Walter. So one of the bigger changes that's happening this year is that with my job, I am changing initiatives. Not all of my initiatives, but I'm changing a really big one. And so last year, being the first year as a training and consultation staff developer, I was part of the literacy initiative, which I feel good about literacy because it's what I do here on this channel and what I'm really passionate about. And then I also worked within MTSS, which was brand new for me. And then I worked in the autism initiative, which was also very brand new for me. And I had probably breakdowns happening weekly because it was not in my comfort zone. I didn't have the background knowledge for it. I have had students that were autistic inside of my classroom. However, am I a special ed teacher? Absolutely not. I am not qualified for that. So I learned a lot and I was very grateful and thankful to bring kind of a different perspective to that initiative. But this year I am moving out of the autism initiative and I'm moving into the math initiative. So I am going to be literacy, math, and MTSS, which I am excited and nervous about because it is going to still be something very new to me. I know that I'm going to have to do a little bit of work as far as learning and researching and digging in pretty deep to understand the science and the why behind math and how we learn math, like our brains learn math. So it's still going to be a bumpy year, but it's going to be great. Like I'm very excited about working in and doing math. I have considered in the past bringing in math into bridging literacy, maybe like bridging academics. So that has been something that we have always talked about expanding because we understand the need that's out there for it. And we've just never really pushed it that far because we've been so focused on the past 2 years of really building bridging literacy and that community, and also the writing bridge, which is my writing program that gives you for 3rd through 6th grade, literally gives you every single grade level, all 6 writing units, lesson by lesson, organizers, anchor charts, activities. Like it gives you anything and everything that you are going to need, minus the authentic mentor text, because that's important. So we've been so focused the past like 2.5 years from the birth of like bridging literacy to really just kind of hone in on that and find a good groove with it and getting up all of those items, trainings, resources into the community, which we're still doing. And I'm adding something new that I'm going to show you in just a second. But we've also considered possibly diving into that math world and what would that look like as far as helping teachers who are teaching both literacy and math and giving them resources and trainings that they're going to need. So that is kind of where I'm at today. Today is going to be a pretty low-key day for the most part. I don't have a ton going on. I have to run to the bank at 4 o'clock. I need to run to the office at some point and pick up some papers. But today is going to be all about diving into that math world. So I have some trainings that I need to watch. I'm trying to attempt to read a book. I have 2 very beefy books, which I'll show you in a second, that I have to read. And that's really going to be the biggest piece that's taking up my time today. So let's head up to the office and get to work. Are you waiting for me? Huh? Are you waiting for me? Huh, fluffy boy? Come on. Okay, so I wanted to give a quick update because on the very first video that I put for our back to school Vlogust, I did not have these. They finally, well, that's a lie. I had to reorder them because it was lost. So I reordered them. I finally got these in. And so there's a lot of things downstairs in the basement that I still have to figure out how to get it organized and have it accessible in a way. I don't know. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do yet because, again, I got a lot of crap. But I finally got these in. They weren't a terrible price. I wanna say it was about $15 or so. And they're a little bit bigger than an A4 size. So I'll be able to fit quite a bit inside of it. So I'm glad I finally got that in. I also got in some other things that I'm very excited about sharing. And that's gonna be in a future video. But I am like so stoked. So I'm still waiting on a couple of other things coming in from Amazon. But I just wanted to share this because I thought that you deserved an update after I kept saying, oh, it's coming in today. Did not go in today. Okay, so a couple of different things that I am doing for math. So one of the types of trainings that we provide to our LEAs, which are like the school districts and the non-pub schools, is going to be about CRA. So I have a whole list of CRA trainings that I have to watch and take notes on and practice so that I can get really good at it. One of the very first trainings that I'm going to be giving, I believe, is going to be on fractions. So it's CRA 3rd through 5th grade fractions. And so that is going to be number 1 on my list. Typically I like to go in order, but because I'm going to be providing this training in like 2.5-ish weeks or so, I just want to make sure that I have it down and I've had some opportunity to practice and kind of work through any questions or problems that the teachers are going to have. Now listen, I know I talk a lot about literacy instruction here, and I'm not here to tell you that I'm going to be the creme de la creme when it comes to math instruction. However, I have taught math before. I was a multi-age teacher. I taught 4th through 6th grade, and I taught every single subject. So I have taught math plenty of times. And so having this understanding of how do I help students really work through understanding the why behind some of the procedural pieces that we present to students, I've done that. And I taught kindergarten. So those early like numeracy skills, like developing that automaticity with that and that fluency piece, I understand how critical that is. I just don't share a ton about it here on this channel. So it's going to be fun, kind of giving you guys a little sneak peek behind the scenes of all the math things that I'm going to be doing. So my number 1 kind of goal today is to work through that fraction CRA training. So I'm going to like cozy myself up. I'm going to put my little background on that I always put on. And then I'm going to probably close one of these windows. And I'm going to watch that CRA training, take some notes with it. The other thing that I am doing, because it is very heavily present in our sessions that we provide to LEAs, is reading this book. So this is the Effective Math Intervention and Interventions, and it talks a lot about the hierarchy, which is one of the biggest things that we really have to dig into. So that is going to be the other piece that I'm going to try to get done today, is I want to read a little bit of this. It is a hefty book. I have this one and I have another book that's very, very hefty. It seems like I'm probably just going to have to reference it rather than sit down and read it, because it's equivalent to like a textbook that you would get when you're in college. So to help make this more manageable for myself, because I just ain't got the time, I'm just going to kind of section things off and identify the areas using the table of contents. So I'm using my literacy skills here to identify what areas I need to focus on and read those first to help me with the trainings that I'm going to be giving. Now, this is one of the, I guess, first like 3 to 5 trainings that I'm going to be having. However, I think for the most part, I'm doing a lot of like early numeracy skills. So number talks is going to be a big piece, which I still have. See, this is why I'm a hoarder. I still have all of my number talks cards that I did with kindergarten. Yay me for keeping all of that stuff. So I'm gonna dig those out of the basement because that is definitely going to help me when it comes to practicing some of those skills and, you know, freshening up my math skills like as a presenter. But I am going to first get started with watching some of those. So I'm gonna take out my notes and I'll share a little bit about how I kind of collect and gather all this information so that I can somehow use it in the future because I don't want to come back and rewatch these videos. Okay, let's get cozy. What is this? Walter. Loving it. Loving it.
Welcome to the CRA course focused on fractions.
You're exciting.
Denominator comes from the word denomination, and that helps us connect it to this.
Taking a bit of a break from watching the videos because Blaine is up and we're gonna make a little egg and tortilla for him because he's hungry. So that is what he's gonna get for food. I am gonna be getting ready to head over to my job really quick to pick up some copies that I've had made for a session that I'm delivering on Monday morning. It's kind of crazy to think that work is starting. Like it is going, we're getting there. Like we've got things moving, things are happening already. And I'm starting the first day of work this year doing a training for new teachers. So I have to go pick up those copies and it's gonna take me an hour to get there and then it's gonna take me an hour to get back, which is fine. I should have done this when I was doing a session, like I think it was towards the end of June, beginning of July, and I just didn't even think about it. My brain was not thinking about August. So I'm gonna make this and then I'm going to get ready to head out. But the trainings themselves are not bad. They're pretty short, quick videos, but there's a lot of videos that I'm going through for fractions. And so far it's talked a lot about concrete, representational, and abstract, which is the CRA method. And it's talking about the different models that we can utilize in order to help students be able to see kind of the concrete piece of fractions. So it's been good. It's very informative. I'm having a lot of memories coming back from teaching math. I mean, I know it's been, it's only been like 2 years since I've taught math, but lots of memories coming back from it. And it's really, really good refreshers, especially when it comes to just the language that I need to be utilizing when talking about fractions themselves. And so I am going through, I use Notion. I don't know why I said use that way. I use Notion to keep track of all of my professional development notes. And so I just created a new inline database, and within that database, I can kind of set up all of the trainings that go along that similar topic. I can use hashtags to be able to very easily find information. But I'm gonna keep all of these fraction videos together. What's nice is because these are videos, I can embed these videos into my notes so that I can go back and watch them if I wanted to. I'm still trying to figure out a way because with math, everything is very illustration based. So I need to figure out a way to be able to embed forms of drawing using my iPad. So if I can just draw out some of these to allow my brain to process what this is gonna look like. And I try to use a whiteboard. It's called witeboard.com. And that doesn't seem to be working very well. So I need to look at another option to be able to try to embed some of my drawings inside of it. Or else I'm just gonna have to keep rewatching the videos. But overall, I think it's been really good. I'm getting a lot from it, which is nice. Once I'm done with these trainings, I'm gonna pull up the slide deck that's already been pre-created by other math members. And then I'm going to start looking at the similarities and attaching some of my notes into those pieces and kind of building my own connections, because that is how I learn. I need to make connections. I need to try things out for myself. So I'm also going to be going down to the basement and pulling out a lot of my math resources to maybe make a couple of kits for like math for myself that I can either use and like take pictures and do some videos and explanations and that kind of thing. So maybe we'll do that a little bit later on, but for right now, I'm going to make an egg and tortilla, and then I am going to go and pick up some copies. Wow, I'm making math. Okay, in the car, we're gonna get ready to head over to, or at least I am. I'm going to head over to the IU. Nobody else is going with me. And I'm gonna go pick up my copies. One of the other things that I need to do at some point this month is really clean out my car. I need to go through and stock up my supplies because I normally have like deodorants, wipes, like all the things while I'm like in the car traveling for work. And sometimes I just need it. You know what I mean? You gotta floss. You got to put in some breath mints, maybe a little reapplication of your deodorant because it's hot outside. I need to do that at some point. But for right now, I'm going to crank up the AC and then I'm going to head on over to my job. Okay, talk to you then. Well, I would love to turn down the air for you so that you're not hearing that incredibly annoying sound. It is too freaking hot. I finished up at work, got my copies. I was looking for a few materials inside of our closet for this session. Unfortunately, I can't find them anywhere. So it looks like I'm just gonna have to try to make them myself, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Just not really something I wanted to do on the weekend. So I will just plan for working on getting some of that stuff done on Sunday. That way I have those session materials ready. But now it's time to go home and finish getting my math stuff done. Okay, got back from work, picking up my papers, getting some materials, and I was hungry. So I ate a piece of pizza that I had left over. And now what I think I'm gonna do before I go back and like start to try to get into the grind of watching those videos, I have time. It's about an hour before I have to head over to the bank. So I don't really want to start the videos just yet. So I figured I would go downstairs and I would try to see if I could find some of my math stuff. Not all of my math items that I have. Walter's gonna ring the bell and I'm gonna let Walter out. So I want to find some of my math things and then, come on babes. And then I also decided that I want to organize a little section, or at least start kind of planning out a little section of my office. I have these like black bins that currently house some like presenting materials that I'm gonna use that I can keep upstairs, because I also use them for like pictures or when I'm modeling things with my community members, when I do any sort of sessions with them. So I figured I would just try to revamp that, because it's like a box on top of a box, and when you need to get to the bottom box, it's a really big pain because you got to take all the boxes down. So I would rather have bins that I can just take off. So I'm going to start shopping for maybe some bins. And then that way, the kit that I'm going to make for myself to be able to use as like models and for pictures for when I'm doing presentations, because I'm a visual girl, I can just have those upstairs and be able to grab them easily. So once Walter is done with his business, I'm gonna let him in, and then I'm gonna go downstairs and I'm grab all of my math stuff. I found all my math stuff. Well, not all of it, but I did get a good little chunk from downstairs of just things that I have been keeping, because, well, hoarding is really the right word, because you never know when you're gonna need something. So here are some of the things that I ended up finding. So one, I did talk about early numeracy skills in kindergarten, and one of the things that we did a lot of is going to be number talks. And so I had created these, and I had 10 frames. I also had die, so sets of dice. And then on the back were just like random sets. They're a little dirty. I'm gonna end up having to clean them, but you can see that I would just work on these with my students. I also had, that I created, a bunch of these sets, which are just very basic, various number talk cards that I would utilize. And then each one had kind of a label so that I could keep track of which one was which. So I have a bunch of these that I ended up pulling out. I need to go through, reorganize them. That way I have them for any trainings that I want to do. Especially because I know I'm going to be doing early numeracy trainings this year. The other thing that I ended up finding I had like little kidney bean counters. I think I ended up getting this when a teacher was retiring and she was doing like a garage sale, and I had bought like a bunch of different things. I actually got big books that were like color books, like it was the color songs to go along with it. Oh my gosh, those are my favorite things. I still have those because I would teach those at the very beginning of the year in kindergarten. So I have these little beans sets for counters. I also have just counting chips that I could use, which is kind of nice for creating sets with fractions. And that's one of the things that the CRA training is going through, is talking about utilizing sets as a model for helping kids conceptualize and understand fractions overall, to make it more concrete. That's the whole point. Other things that I had, and I don't really remember where I think I got these like on sale, because these are for the overhead projector, which if you are not as old as I am, you're probably like, what is an overhead projector? That is a thing. It is a huge monster, but they are just perfect. They're the 10 frames. And so I have a set of these that I can use. I do have a much larger set of these. I think they're in a bin with all my other math items, which I will probably have to go through. I have to go back to the farm because that's where all my like school stuff is located, and figure out where those math items are and just kind of pull some of those. I was able to find some Unifix cubes. These are the ones that allow you to connect it on all of the sides. So I found some of those. I did find some more die, so I found those. I also found, and these are for overhead projectors as well, are your pattern blocks. So I found some pattern blocks. I have a set of those that I can utilize. And then I have another set of tangrams. Tangrams, that is such a hard word for me. So I have a set of those as well. So not a ton of items, but I think it's a good start. I think I do have some things with fractions that are probably saved inside of my bins at some point within the next like week or so. I'm gonna have to go through and start pulling out some of those items because I would like to keep them. Let me show you the area in the office that I would like to try and find a better bin situation, because the one that I currently have is just not working for me. Okay, can we first just appreciate this backdrop? I'm really, really loving it. Can we tell that I am in the mood for fall? So over here is the area where it's just kind of my backdrop for my YouTube videos and my live chats that I do. But up here at the very top is where I have these bins. Now, I guess they're boxes. The boxes with the lids are really great. I've had them for such a long time. I want to say it's probably been like 8 years. They're fantastic quality. However, the things that I have inside of them do not lend themselves to being placed in there. So I just need a better situation to where I could have like the 4 bins up here and just be able to pull down the ones that I need, because this whole situation makes it very challenging for me to actually use the space. So that is what I'm going to start looking for on Amazon and seeing if I can come up with anything. Okay, so it is like getting closer to where we are going to be going to the bank. And once we go to the bank, it is dinner time. We're going to do some cleaning up like as a family. Ian should be home from work pretty soon. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut it here. Just know that I will be watching the remainder of those fraction videos and just taking notes from them, because it's just one thing that I have to get done. Hopefully I can get through the beginning part of this book that I have that I do need to read. So that is going to be my goal today. It's very mathy. It's very different for this channel. Let me know what you all think. It is definitely going to be a big role of my job this upcoming year. And if you would like for me to share more things about it, I'm happy to share those things with all of you. So that way, if you are somebody who teaches both literacy and math, you can get a little bit of both here on the channel. But thank you all so much for watching. I would love to know, are there any video recommendations that you have for the remainder of this month? Don't forget, we are uploading a video every single day for the month of August for our back to school Vlogust time. So thank you all so much. Please, please, please take a second and just give the video a like, give it a thumbs up. It just helps to push this video out there so that other teachers are accessing and viewing this channel. If you are interested in joining the Bridging Literacy community, there are a lot of great things happening there. I'm uploading a types of conflict task cards and a sort that's going to be going up pretty soon. So there's lots of really great goodies that you can grab from that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you are all having a wonderful start to your school year. And for those of you who do not go back until the month of September, hopefully this is starting to get your brain kind of thinking about going back into the classroom this year. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.